Are we rolling? Yes, we are. Well, what an absolute classic that was. If anybody wasn't entertained tonight, you are such a killjoy. It is unreal. Anthony Joshua v Vladimir Klitschko. Now, I was worried all week about this fight. I was edging Joshua, but my mind was changing all the time. As the week went on, I became more confident that Joshua would win. But the fight turned out the way I initially thought. It could go either way. First of all, you had everything, didn't you? Great boxing at times from Klitschko. His feet look terrific. His skills are undeniable. The power is still there at 41. And Joshua had never seen anything like this. Anthony, to me, made a decent start in the first round. But I edged the first round still, I think, to Klitschko. As this fight wore on, Klitschko started to dictate the pace. I thought the pace of the fight was wrong for Anthony Joshua. But I will say this about Klitschko. He's known as a great heavyweight, but not particularly an entertaining one. Well, tonight he was an entertainer. In defeat, he put on him and Joshua combined. There wasn't just one man trying to fight in there. There was two. So credit to Vlad. Let me tell you this. If Vladimir Klitschko wants to fight again, I'm not saying he will. But if he does, he's got new fans after an entertaining display like that. Because when all's said and done, that's what this sport's about. When Joshua dropped him, Klitschko recovered. Joshua looked gassed to me, a bit similar to the way he looked in the Dillian Whyte fight. When he put his shots together, and I think sometimes this is a problem when fighters have too much muscle. It takes a lot of their energy and a lot of their oxygen, I think. Then Vladimir lands an absolute beautiful right hand right down the pipe and stuns Joshua. And it looks to be game over. Now, for me, Klitschko's jab was dictating the fight. Joshua's shown tonight that he does have a jab, but it's not in the same universe as Klitschko. Klitschko still has a dimension to him that I think Anthony Joshua could do with studying, basically. When Anthony Joshua somehow beat the count, you saw the flaws in Klitschko. And this is what it is. If Mike Tyson rocks you and you get up and you are staggered, he's going to finish you. That's his instinct. When Lennox Lewis, who his nature is to box, like Vladimir, but when he had Mike Tyson, Michael Grant, Frank Bruno, if you remember, when he caught him with that right hand or the left hook, I think it was, in the 7th round. Bruno was taken out. Grant was taken out. Mike Tyson was taken out. Vladimir Klitschko, and I did say this before in a previous video, the old flaws from years ago are still in his mind. So when he's got someone out on the feet, he won't finish them for fear of being finished himself. But with him letting Joshua survive, and Anthony Joshua did a clever thing. Everybody was saying, it's such a dominant round. I think after, going into the 7th round, because Joshua kind of took a walk around the ring. He didn't do anything. I thought that was smart. People wanted him to throw punches. I didn't. I thought recuperate, because Klitschko won't go in for the kill. We even seen that in Germany when he got on the inside against Tyson Fury. He just didn't let them hands go. That's not his natural instinct. But when Joshua had Klitschko hurt, apart from him gassing, You felt if he could get him in that situation again, he could end the fight. Before I talk about the conclusion to the fight, though, I don't know what the judges were scoring. I had Klitschko, well, at least 3 rounds ahead before going into the 11th round. Here's the difference, though. When Klitschko was badly hurt in the 11th round, Joshua did what Klitschko didn't. He was clinical. He finished Klitschko. That is what Anthony Joshua is good at. That is something Vlad has never been great at. He doesn't have the natural killer instinct. And people talk about primes. I don't think this fight was won or lost on a prime, on a young fighter fighting an old fighter situation. Because the same way Vlad's lost in the past was the way he lost tonight. Had Vlad had Anthony Joshua hurt years ago, he may have been cautious and not wanting to go in for the kill then. But we've seen Corey Sanders finish Vlad, didn't we? So Anthony Joshua is capable of knocking out Klitschko at any point in his career. And I don't think there was a stamina problem with Wladimir Klitschko. He looked as fit as a fiddle. I was worried when I seen him on the mitts the day before throwing combinations and how he was switching angles with his footwork and things of that nature. That really bothered me, and it shone in the ring. His bounce was tremendous. But in the heavyweight division, you are only a punch away no matter how far ahead you are on the scorecards, and I had Klitschko ahead. If you don't have the instinct to finish your man, and a young quality heavyweight like Anthony Joshua, he eventually may finish you. And that's exactly what happened. When the young man had his man hurt in the 11th, he let his hands go and knocked Klitschko down on multiple occasions, and then was in no mood to let Vlad off the hook. Some people are saying that it was a premature stoppage. I don't know about that. I think Vlad was done. I do. And I think Joshua had 57 seconds, even if the ref let it go on in that round before Klitschko had a minute off. Plus then, Vlad would have to knock Joshua out in the 12th to win, because the scorecards were all for Joshua. And I'm not saying Vlad isn't capable of beating Joshua, but I do think it dramatically turned. It was early, it was evenish. Then Joshua had that dramatic moment, then sort of ran out of gas when he couldn't finish him in the 5th. Then Vlad come back with that massive right hand down the pipe. Joshua tonight proved he's got grit. We didn't know that. He proved he's got a chin. Because I think he took some real heavy shots after the knockdown that were actually as big a shots as the knockdown. Vlad boxed beautifully. He should be proud of himself. He went out, if this is his final fight, on a high note. That fight is a classic. Many of these mega fights don't live up to the standards we expect, but this one did. They more than made up for the travesty we had in 2015 Maypac. Anthony Joshua now will be the biggest star in boxing because he has an advantage. He's a heavyweight, and we've been craving for a great heavyweight for a long time, and he is definitely a symbol. And he's a guy whose image is sellable, it's bankable, marketable. Here in the United States on HBO, where the fight was played tonight, They would have absolutely adored this classic. Casual boxing fans, Anthony Joshua is going to be their dream. Similar to Mike Tyson. Because he does what Mike Tyson did, doesn't he? He's wicked when he's got his man hurt. Despite at times the skill discrepancy, when he had Vlad finished, he made sure he was going to push the button and detonate Vlad once and for all. Vlad got away once, and when Vlad had his chance, he couldn't put the foot on the accelerator. Wouldn't. But Joshua did. And he ticked all the boxes you want a young fighter to tick. Proved he's got a chin. Proved he actually could go to the 11th and beyond and win against a high caliber opponent. Don't forget them guys, Joshua. This was a quantum leap for him tonight. He never fought anything in this universe like Wladimir Klitschko. Yet he was able, when at times the odds were against him, to raise his game. I thought he was on the way to a defeat during the match, but I did predict that he would win a tough fought battle, just not as tough as this. But it was a classic. The ringside people were all full of compliments and joy for Anthony Joshua after he was winning, but they were criticising him at ringside. They were saying he needs to put his combinations together and hunt his man. But when he did hunt Wladimir, he had massive success. It was when he was hypnotised by Wladimir Klitschko's movement, hand speed, and sort of got into this I'll out jab you, box you mode. Well, you won't do that. Wladimir Klitschko is a legend at this sort of stuff, and you could see some of the old veteran tactics in play, couldn't you? When they were up close, Wladimir Klitschko held cleverly. He didn't hold excessively tonight, in my book, but he held just seemingly at the right time. And the uppercut that Joshua threw when Klitschko put his arms out wide to hold, that's what he needed. And boy, did he find it. That uppercut was tremendous that Joshua threw. That's the kind of uppercut you throw when somebody's trying to hold. And as the fight wore on, I think it was around about round 10. And I don't think I scored that round for Joshua. But he was starting to work Vlad's body as they were clinching on the inside. So he'll have learned a heck of a lot from a fight like this. And as I said, I know people will be saying if this was 5 years ago, Vlad would have won. But Vlad's never been a finisher. And let's face it, he got better when he started working with Manny Stewart. Because Manny Stewart taught him tricks to protect his vulnerable spot, which I think he has a Frank Bruno chin. He keeps getting up, if he can, but he goes down. But Anthony Joshua, when he landed, the old cracks in the wall, when the wallpaper was taken down, were exposed again. And he finished him. But it was a classic. One of the best heavyweight fights I've ever witnessed. Dylan White and Derek Chisora is up there, but this, knockdowns, great boxing skill, drama, people doing the right thing at the right time, people doing the wrong thing at the right time, and then just when you think that the guy that all the promoters are investing in is gone, he comes up with a miracle in round 11. The thing that you're begging him to do all fight, let his hands go, he found it Where did he get the stamina from? It was amazing. He looked dead on his feet. And then, well, we call it the second wind, don't we? People have that. And Joshua had to have it tonight. So it was a classic. But let me say this. Maybe it was too much of a classic. And I'll tell you what I mean. Wladimir Klitschko had been out the ring for more than a year and a half. And I think now he's nearly a year and a half to 2 years older than when he fought Tyson Fury on his own soil, Klitschko. And whatever you may think about Tyson Fury toyed with Klitschko. Tyson Fury at the end of the fight in Germany looked like he'd gone for a walk round the corner. Anthony Joshua didn't, did he? He was beaten up pretty heavy tonight. He had to go through brick walls and back to gain this victory. And people say it's down to inexperience. It is. Because Joshua had never fought anyone like that before. But let me tell you this. Neither had Tyson Fury. Yet look at the difference. So, for anyone thinking that Tyson Fury would not offer Anthony Joshua some problems, think again. Because those two look even tonight. But for the finish, it was an even-ish contest. They looked on the same level. In fact, Vlad, in terms of his skill level, looked slightly ahead of Joshua. He didn't look ahead of Fury in terms of skill set. And his reflexes didn't look better than Tyson Fury's. They looked better than Joshua's at times. So if Klitschko is looking the quicker man with the quicker hand speed and the better footwork, well, if Fury's got better footwork than Klitschko, and faster hands and a harder puzzle to figure out, then it makes the Joshua Fury fight interesting, doesn't it? Now, that doesn't mean that Tyson Fury will have his way with Anthony Joshua, because power is the ultimate equalizer. And styles make fights. We've seen that over and over again. You can't always use the triangular theory in boxing. But don't write Tyson Fury out. He could throw a spanner in the works. Because this fight is bound to happen at some stage. It's written. And you think this fight was big. That will be bigger. It could be one of the biggest fights in history. And then, as I said, the transatlantic fight of either Fury or Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder. Whew, the heavyweight division is alive again suddenly. This win tonight puts Anthony Joshua ahead of any fighter in the world right now, I think. And because it was a classic, it'll get even more attention. Klitschko and Fury did not get the same attention because Tyson Fury's personality isn't as well liked with casual people as Anthony Joshua's. But that doesn't mean that Anthony Joshua will necessarily beat Tyson Fury. When you're in the squared circle, things are even. You've got to earn it. And of course, Fury didn't get the same credit because when he beat Klitschko, it wasn't a classic. But classics sometimes happen because there are flaws there. And Joshua is more flawed at times than Tyson Fury. He is. He's more robotic. But he has got a spirit about him. He's proved he's got a chin. And he's got power. So he can beat anybody. But so can Tyson Fury. And here's another thing. There's a lot of things that Wladimir Klitschko is, but as I said, being a finisher is not one of them. And I know Deontay Wilder does not necessarily have Wladimir Klitschko's technique and experience at that level. But if Deontay Wilder had hurt Anthony Joshua like that, he would finish Anthony Joshua. And vice versa. Don't get me wrong, Joshua would finish him too in the same predicament. But styles make fights. If Deontay Wilder hurt Joshua like that, he would go in for the kill. I could see Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield at ringside enjoying the occasion, but also looking at each other as if to say, boy, wouldn't we have beaten these two rather easily? And yes, they would have done. Let's not get confused. It was a great, entertaining event. They're both terrific fighters, but they're not with the all-time greats yet. Well, Klitschko is, yes. I'll say Klitschko is an all-time great, but Joshua has got a bit of a way to go. It's a great start, though, and he ticked a lot of boxes. But watch Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn now, I'm sure, will try and get Joshua to fight a couple of lower-level opponents to try and marinate a possible Fury-Joshua fight. I think that's dangerous because in the meantime, Tyson Fury's getting back into shape. I think Hearn and Joshua need that fight soon because Tyson Fury is rusty. If you let him get back into his rhythm and into any style of shape and that movement and the awkwardness of him comes back, well, you've got a puzzle to solve. But advice to Anthony Joshua, if you do get on the inside, because Fury will have the advantage in hand reach. He's got faster hands, faster feet. When he gets inside, though, Joshua has to work on the inside earlier than he did tonight. He has to go to the body and slow Tyson Fury's movement down. Otherwise, it could be a frustrating night for Anthony Joshua because I'm proud of him and I'm proud of Vlad because Vlad, people now will remember him as an exciting fighter, and really he wasn't, was he? A successful fighter, one of the best heavyweights we've seen, but he was not an exciting heavyweight like George Foreman and Mike Tyson, those sort of guys. But now he will be because of that occasion. But I do see Tyson Fury sat at home looking at his family saying, I toyed with that guy. Look at this. Look at the so-called hero of the division going to hell and back with him. Tyson Fury has every reason to be confident he can beat Anthony Joshua. But Anthony Joshua has that power. But then again, Tyson Fury, all heavyweights can hit. But if the fight happens, Joshua will have to go in with his chin tucked, head movement like never before, go to the body and be aggressive. He's got to be the hunter and cut the ring off. Because at times Wladimir Klitschko was backing Anthony Joshua up. And when Joshua was on the ascendancy, he seemed to be following Vlad rather than cutting the ring off. He has to cut that ring off well against Tyson Fury. There's no question about it. If Tyson Fury can move, it's trouble for Anthony Joshua. As I said, styles make fights. Because Joshua struggled with Klitschko doesn't mean he struggles with Fury. But for now, it looks a daunting task for Joshua. Not impossible, but daunting. He will need to prepare himself and work on his skill sets. And when he gets the bick between his teeth, fire, because he's going to need to slow that man down. A fight for the ages, it certainly was. And I was glad to see it live. So, a champion of champions fight from a legend. The previous video was called, Do We Have a New Era? Or maybe we don't. Yes, we do have a new era. We've got 3 very interesting guys. Fury's not done yet. Deontay Wilder is in America waiting. But Anthony Joshua rules tonight. And that's all I have to say. Congratulations, Vlad. And for now, AJ is the king. Champions of Champions Boxing Talk, I'm out.